Hey guys, this is Cece.
What's up, y'all? This is Jake.
And this is
Life After the L Word
Live.
We got it, y'all. We getting it. Synchronized. What's up, y'all? How everybody doing?
Yes. So first of all, we want to say, if you can, just please comment your name. Whenever you decide to make it, please post your name with your comment so we can acknowledge you.
That's right.
Because of the app I'm using, I won't be able to see who it is without looking at my other device. So please.
Please. Feedback is a must, y'all. Yes. We want y'all to have your comments, likes, dislikes. Just tell us what you think.
Yes. And sorry it's been so long since we've been able to do a show, but I have been super busy.
That's right. We still got goals, and she's doing things, and we're just working, y'all. So
yes, but we're back.
We are.
So today we're going to talk about forgiveness, and
this is my baby.
Yes. So Jay actually came up with this topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forgiveness, can it be done, and how? So first, I have to ask you, what made you come up with this subject?
Well, just basically because I know it was a struggle for me, and it still is. So I think I relate to a lot of men and women in different ways, and I just thought, like, why don't we bring that to the forefront? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's much needed.
It is because, no matter how serious or short your relationship is, there are trials and tribulations. And so how do you deal with it? And so, the spoiler alert is this is for me, this is for the forgiving offenses, because there are some things that are unforgivable, but I'm talking about basically things that you can forgive and how to move forward with that.
Right. So you said relationships. Do you mean just like husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend? Could it also mean, is it like just any relationship?
Yeah, any relationship. Yeah. Any relationship. Anything that you really feel secure about. I think if it's a real intimate relationship beyond the physical.
Okay.
So if it's a deeper connection, then this is what we're talking about. Because typically when it's a deeper connection, you get closer. You know what I'm saying? And you do things. Yeah. So one way or another, because we're imperfect, right?
Yeah, definitely. So you want to start off?
Yeah, let me dive in. Splash. Let me go ahead. So for me, it's like I'm gonna work backwards for y'all. So how do you forgive? For me, I say you got to forgive yourself. And you go like, well, why when you did the offense to the person? For me, it's like when you why don't you want to forgive yourself? Well, the reason why you don't want to forgive yourself is because there are a couple of emotions that you tap into. You tap into imperfection, like I can't believe I did that. You also tap into hurt feelings, and it's a deeper emotion. So a lot of times, if you don't forgive yourself, you can't relate to that other person. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't forgive yourself, and then you can't understand the hurt that they have. Because like when I do my self-reflection about the mistakes I make, it's a different kind of despair. It's a different kind of emotion that I feel, but I'm connected when I apologize to you, because I think to myself, like, how deep it hurt me to look at mine. Because it's hard to look at yourself in a reflection, right?
Yeah.
And to forgive yourself. Like, that's my struggle. Like, I'd rather have that albatross around my neck, like, you know what I'm saying, and not forgive myself. So I say, to even begin to start the healing, forgive yourself, so then you'll be open to why that person needs that forgiveness. I know. Splash.
But I found it interesting that you did bring up forgiving yourself, because I also feel like that applies to the person who is accepting the forgiveness. They need to forgive themselves. So for me, it's like, you know what, we say, okay, we forgive you, but then we get angry at ourselves because we'll be like, you know what, I shouldn't have continued to deal with that person. I should have let that person go.
Right.
And then you're not going to be able to forgive them. You have to, and that's why also, because 9 out of 10, you done told your friends and your family what this person has done to harm you, and then you take him or her back. So then you walking around feeling guilty or angry at yourself, because now you have to explain to everybody else, well, you know what? We went ahead and made it work. So then you're feeling like they looking at you like you so stupid. When really, like, I get that you have to vent, but you have to vent to the right people. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. Yeah, that's definitely important. Like, you have to, because like you just said, like, you always forgive your significant other, and then you kind of brush past that with your family. Like, you don't even want to, now you have that conversation when you're venting, but you don't want to tell them about why you forgive them.
Right.
All of that stuff. You want to kind of bypass that. Like, listen, I'm now you want to have rules about your relationship. Now you're like, listen, I want to talk about that.
Right.
But you wanted to talk about that bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And also, I feel like you need to, as the person who is on receiving it, you also need to forgive yourself for taking this person back, so you don't,
flip,
so that you don't feel stupid.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. So that's a different connection that I didn't realize, but that's one of those that when I say you need to forgive yourself, then the person that you need to have them forgive you, they need to actually be able to receive, like, listen, I am taking this person back, because a lot of times what I learned that you forgave me, but it wasn't complete. Right. So I think the conversation that we're trying to say is, if you can't do it, then be honest about it. And if it's a struggle to forgive, be honest about that too.
Right, yeah.
A lot of times we just be like, cool, but you're not cool. I forgive you. I don't forgive you, because you can't forgive somebody that same day or that same moment. It's just not going to work that way.
And if you don't forgive, if both of y'all have to forgive yourselves, you for doing the act and the person for taking you back, because how you gonna move forward?
Right.
You're not gonna be able to move forward in a healthy way.
I totally get
if you don't do that. And it's like, and we can use our, well, hold up, Capri said, that's a good point. Forgiving yourself should be first. We always focusing on others. Yes.
I know, Capri. That's why I said it. Thank you.
You know how he is, girl.
Well, yeah, definitely. So that was a different dynamic that I didn't know you were going to talk about. I didn't know you were going to say, but I guess this all connects to why when you're in a relationship, it's 50-50. It's kind of like a partnership. Because I originally just said, forgive yourself and then start working on that. But it's two people that got to forgive, because it's the wrong and the wrong heat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I like that.
Yeah, my cousin said, yo, what's up, Jermaine?
What's up? I appreciate you. Jermaine is faithful all day. What up, though?
And so it's interesting that you just said with the case me and you and how I would keep going on. So for me,
yes, revolving door, like
yeah. That was one of our biggest issues was
the forgiving
part. Like I thought I had forgiven him before we got married, and I think part of me felt like the marriage would change it. Like, you know what I mean? But then me and you kept having the same arguments over and over and over again. No, matter of fact, we would have different arguments, but the same subject would be the problem. Right. And it wasn't even the subject we were arguing about. It was me saying, well, you did this 10 years ago, and I had to go through this because of what you did, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it was just like, yo, we're not even arguing about something real. This is, you're holding on to something that had happened in the past that you said you forgave me for. And I realized through you that I hadn't forgiven you.
Right. But then the devil's advocate is that a lot of us, male or female, will know that we've done like some real offenses. And deep down, we know if that would have happened to us. Like deep down, I knew, like I told you, like I was always amazed, like, how could you forgive me? You couldn't. You moved on. And I think that's the difference that people don't realize. You can move on and not forgive. And it can still, that weight can still travel with you.
It was definitely affecting our marriage.
It was. Like, and then I'm looking surprised, like, what? What happened? And it's like, you remember what you did? And then so this conversation for us is like, so that y'all can get off of that revolving door of the same kind of conversation. If you're having the same kind of conversation, then y'all gonna have to go back and examine it, because that means there is something amiss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you're not gonna move forward because you're still focusing on the issue. And sometimes it would be something that you would do that would trigger me. Like, you did the same ish when you was doing blah blah blah, and it's completely unrelatable to what you did before, but I hadn't really forgiven you. Yeah.
And I would notice, like, the heat would be harder for something that I did, but the intent or what it was carried on was from the past, which I wouldn't understand. Like, why are you coming so hard for me doing something that I would find like a simple, but it was connected to your past. Yeah. So you were coming at me with history. So that's what we're trying to get. That's what the conversation is. When you carry on, when you take history with you, then you can't have the present. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so we came up to a pivotal moment when you were like, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep throwing this in my face. We're stagnant. We're not moving forward. And so, first of all, I love the fact that you, and I think a lot of people who are asking for forgiveness, have to realize it's not about you.
Yeah, and when you're asking for forgiveness, like, let's be real, like, are you wholeheartedly asking for forgiveness? Or are you just kind of wanting to put your head buried into the sand? You just kind of want to get it over with. And that's the thing, like, when we do these things, we didn't think about when we did them. So then now it takes more detail to think about the forgiveness part.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. And I know, speaking for myself, it was just like, listen, I'm here. I don't, whatever it is, I don't do that no more. And I didn't want to talk about it. And so because I didn't want to talk about it, I didn't give you a chance to heal.
Yeah.
So.
And so that's what, yeah. And eventually you just was like, yo, we just got to address this.
Right.
I can't change the past, but we can't move forward if you haven't really forgiven me.
Right.
And I was just like, first of all, they did turn me on, y'all.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about a strong man. But anyway, I digest. Like you say.
Yeah.
So it goes back to when you're asking somebody to forgive you, you have to be willing to listen to all the pain that they feel, because they're the ones going through it. You can't just be like, oh, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
What you mean? You want me to forgive you, but you don't want to hear what you did.
And that's like, to my fellas or anybody that struggles with having conversations that, you know, tap into your emotions. Unfortunately for us, this is what being an adult is. Like when you're out here just doing your thing and handling your business, then you don't have to worry about the content of your story.
Right.
But the content changes the deeper it goes. So I like what you said about, and that was like one of my first things is, if you're trying to repair something that you did, then then it's going to be harder for you than it is the person. And so don't look at it like me and you went through that. Don't look at it and say, well, I forgave for this, and so you should be able to do that, because we're all and that's what me and you battling about. Well, I forgave you for this. Well, I forgave you for that, and it's like, listen, that's not the same thing. I'm a different person. I'm a male. You're a female. It's like we look at things. We've had different experiences, but we were comparing each other's forgiveness.
Yeah. And you can't, and so we did say you can't stop us from feeling a certain way, but you also can't try and tell us to change our tone.
Right. That's a big thing. Like,
You can't say, oh baby, I cheated on you and got somebody pregnant, and then I curse you out and yell, and you be like, yo, just check your tone.
Right. Yeah. Why are you rolling your eyes? wait, sir. You got another baby on the way, and I'm supposed to give you a high five. No, that's like that's what we're talking about when we say putting your head buried into the sand. So the first thing for me was acknowledgement. And so acknowledgement for me was to pay respect to you and your partner. And what I'm meaning by that is be honest about the whole situation. Do not play yourself or the partner and minimize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And don't make it not a big deal, because when you're asking for forgiveness, no matter how small or how big, it depends on that person. So acknowledgement has got to be the first thing. Like, listen, I don't care how you phrase it, but I hear you. Let me tell you, I acknowledge what I did was wrong. That's the first step for me.
Yeah. And so then I feel like forgiveness can happen, but I think it depends on how deep the relationship is.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
I think it depends on how deep the relationship is, how long you guys have been together, and
time plays a part.
I think time definitely plays a part. And I'm not even just speaking about boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, whatever. I'm thinking about even friendships, family.
True. Yeah, that's another dive into. Like, so I like this. So this is just not because we're married and we have a relationship, and normally we speak to y'all, but this goes to any connection that you have. Friendship. Look at that. Gobbles. But yeah, so this, I like that you said that. I didn't even really, but of course, like with friendships, just you've been friends for 20 years. Something happens. It's not going to be just because of that 20 years. Depends on the offense of how you're going to be able to get over it.
If you can. And you don't have to. That's another thing too. We don't have to forgive anybody. True. I don't have to talk to you. You don't have to talk to me. And guess what? We can also forgive and never deal with you again. That's we don't have to just continue to deal with you just because I forgive you. I forgive you, but I still need to cut ties with you because what you did violated everything or whatever that I stand for.
Okay. It's pretty hardcore, but yeah. I definitely understand.
I had to learn that the hard way.
You're a hard piece of woman, baby. for me to also, so the other step for me is don't rush. So don't be Speedy Gonzalez. Don't try to rush the apology. I like a lot of us go like, I'm sorry, and that's the end of it, like so quick and so fast. So how can somebody feel like you really mean what you're saying if you say it so fast, like you're trying to get over it? Like I said before, you weren't trying to get over whatever you did. So don't rush the apology. Now that would be my key thing for any of us. Don't rush the apology. Take the time to look at that person and show the intent that it's an emotion tied to it. To me, if you're saying it fast and quick, how can you have an emotional connection to it?
Yeah, you can't, right?
No, you can't.
So you can't, and so you don't rush it just because you're uncomfortable.
Don't rush, don't hush. Sorry.
What was that?
Don't rush, don't hush.
That's what I deal with, y'all. So I feel like too, because I'm a huge advocate for therapy. And even in friendships, like I've seen friends go to therapy, that's deep, but whatever. If your friendship means that much to you, then you guys can do that.
True.
But I'm a huge advocate of therapy. And so if you really want to work it out, if it's something that's really holding your relationship up, then you should go get some help. Get something professional to see if it, first of all, to see if it's even worth forgiving.
True.
Because it's some deep, 9 times out of 10, there's some deep issues that's going on for this behavior to keep happening. And it doesn't even just have to be about cheating. It could be this person is a thief. This person is just a pathological liar. Right. This person just don't know how to pay the bill. Like, it could be anything.
Listen, this person, we can be funky with y'all. This person messed up my credit. This person messed up, wrecked my car. They pay. Those things can really make or break a relationship. Went half on a business that went belly up. Like it can change everything. Yeah. So I do like that you said like, and that just boils down to if that relationship is worth fighting or you really care about it, then more often than not you're gonna do what you can to repair it. If it's not, you have to forget that person so you can move on. You don't want to take that weight, but you, like you said, you might just stop talking to that person just depending on it.
Yeah. So somebody just said they came in on time. So guys, I know you didn't hear it when we first came on. Just when you make a comment, put your name in it.
Put a name so I can say something back
to you. So we can see who it is.
Thank you.
And I don't know who it was. I came in on time. Yes. Well, we're happy you here.
Yeah, you did come on time. We're coming on time. Forgiving, get your mind right. Let's that's what we're talking about. Whoever came on, it's like, can you get over these things? I believe you can get over certain things, and some things you can't forgive. But that's not for this topic. That'll be for another one. This one is how do you forgive and how you can get along with your mate.
Oh, hey Chiquita. That's what it is.
What's that? What up?
So I love this subject. I know
we should. We've been through this a lot.
Oh my God, y'all have no idea. Like we have been through so much in this 200 years of being in each other's lives.
So you would think we would have got it right, but we didn't.
We did not get it right. And love we have for one another, like it's real deep. Like it's hard to even put into words the feelings that we have for one another.
Soul.
He wants my soul. I just refuse to give it to him. So, but forgiveness was a big one for us.
Oh yeah.
It was a big one for us. You had done so much.
I have. And you were trying to, and that was the thing too. A part of me believed that you were trying to, like go tit for tat, trying to get me back. And so then that was a part of an uphill battle. Like then I was at a good place, but you weren't. So then it felt like you were, intentionally trying to do stuff. And it was like, yo, listen, I'm not that person no more. But you were still, now that I can have context to it, you were still going through it yourself. And so of course, I'm unscathed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting back saying I'm cool now. And you going like, how can you be? You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those. And once we got rid of that, or at least had the conversation about what we really are mad about, then things really started changing. We were just having the same argument, different ways.
Yeah.
Different ways of the same argument.
Yeah. And we weren't getting anywhere.
No.
Me more so than Jay, was really contemplating divorce. Because I was just like, I've been married before. I'm not going to go through this again. But like I said, he had I can see you, right? So like I said, we had a real live conversation and realized like, yo, I do want this marriage, but I have to figure out how I can forgive. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for allowing him to do the things that he did to me. I had to forgive myself for not telling him fully that I didn't forgive him. I had to forgive myself. And so that's why I was.
It was
Yeah.
It was deep.
and that's what actually helped, is me being able to forgive myself for forgiving him and not sticking up for myself when I should have.
And surprise, y'all, I wasn't even sure. I was probably amazed or buried down, but I didn't expect for the things that she actually brought to the table. Like, it was like, years behind, you know what I'm saying? And that she would bring up, and I was surprised. So a lot of times we believe that we know what it's really about. But if we're not really asking those questions, and I really had to stop, you know what I'm saying? And say, see, what's going on for real? And it was just, and we really got it. We didn't have not another conversation until we could figure out why we were still having the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did.
Me too.
And
look at us.
Goals. So the other thing I've got, and this is speaking for experience, of course, is take your time off. And when I say take your time off, I mean, like, a lot of us say, it's not a big deal. And we say, like, you should be over in a couple months. When people pass and die, people say all these different things. And it's not up to us for that person to be over with. Unfortunately, like, I wish I blinked and see would have been straight. That's not how it worked. I had to put in that work, and I had to prove that I wasn't that person anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. We put a time limit on it, not for them, but for us, because we don't want to have to deal with the attitude or whatever negative responses they give to us while they're still trying to heal from the pain that we caused them.
Yeah, we don't want that juju. No, that's what it is.
So you don't put a time limit on it at all. That's a good point. That's one reason you can help to get over that, to deal with the forgiveness.
Yeah, because I want it to be over. I want to give them I really want to give, or we should, in any kind of couple, any kind of friendship, you want to give them a proper time to heal, to receive what you said, and then for them to actually have the proper time in their own way to heal. So
Chiquita,
what up, Chiquita?
Is asking, so what exactly happened between y'all?
See, I like that you in my biz. Cool. So since we're gonna get funky, Chiquita, Papa was a Rolling Stone, the normal ignorant young kind of stuff. But to be honest, I just was doing my own thing, and that meant, not caring about her emotions or any of it. I wanted to do what I wanted and how I wanted. And when I was done, I expected to have open arms. And so just stepping out, just in plain terms, doing my own thing, sexually, freaky, all of that, too much when she asked. So, just taking for granted the friendship that I had. And so when I tell y'all, I am lucky and I'm blessed, I am, because she shouldn't have. And I'm thankful that she did. So that's what happened.
Capri said, Keita, that story would take over an hour.
Capri, mind your business. I don't need your help in this. I got this.
Yeah, Chiquita, that is a very long story.
She got the overview.
You didn't even touch on the overview.
She got it.
The overview itself is a 30-minute show.
I digest.
Okay. But Chiquita, pretty much, me and Jay have been dealing with one another for over 20 years. Well, I don't want to tell all your business, even though he tells it all anyway.
True.
But he just wasn't, before we got married, he just wasn't as responsible as he should have been.
In no way.
Yeah. And
I'm still a good dude. See how we say that?
Yeah, right. I wasn't good. I did you wrong, but I'm still a good dude. Yeah. Make it make sense. But he just didn't do right.
Yeah.
Back and forth, not helping me with responsibilities he helped to create. And then one day I just kicked him out.
Yeah, she had enough. And that was a shock.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I had to get myself together. And thankful I am. I love you.
I love you too. And so we've been solid, or just about solid, ever since. We still had to deal with the conversation about the forgiveness. So I'm not sure who this is. Hold up. It says, I have a lot because I just dropped my weight, lying and cheating. So I have questions. Oh, that's Chiquita. And then Chiquita says, so Jay, why do men take us women for granted, especially knowing she brings more than just the table to the mix?
Okay. I love that question. It's a lot of things. Number one, it could be insecurity. It can be because we're not used to having such a positive entity in our life, and so we back away from it. When we for me, C was like all of those things that I wanted to, but then that meant that I had to grow up. That meant that I had to say, she's such a solid person that I was going to have to do the right thing, and I wasn't ready to do that. That's number one. The second thing I think of why don't we do those things? It can be our upbringing and our environment. So if we're really spoiled, then we take things for granted. We don't see the work and all. And I promise you, again, once we leave a good woman, we notice them once we leave. As soon as we leave, we go and think about that other girl and all that. It's kind of this weird kind of tug that we have. A lot of it's built-in masculinity, not opening up, not showing how we really feel. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of different textures. So a lot of times you have to really have a conversation with a guy and see how they move. To me, women typically do too much too fast.
Your sister said Jay dropping gems. They ain't ready for him, Capri.
Not at all. You know why she got me.
Okay. You said a whole lot. I had a point to make, but now I done forgot what it was.
Now, man, that's the point. That's what you need to do. You need to do it right where they can't say nothing else. A lot of times we don't.
So Keita said that makes so much sense, what you just said.
Thank you, Tamina. Appreciate it.
And then too, I don't want to put your business out there too, but you had your previous relationship before me caused you a lot of.
Oh yeah. So I'm glad you opened that up. And so your past experiences, I think women probably learn a little faster than we do, and not probably that. I think they do. And so like, okay, that's not the kind of person I want. Men kind of revert back. So if you get a messed up woman or whoever, we actually go like, okay, well, look, I tried it. And that was my issue too. It's like, I tried it, that didn't work, so now I'm gonna do me. And that was the simplest way to not have to deal with my emotions. And because I could just, have fun, do my thing, and that would be the end of it. So it's not right, but that's how sometimes we look at it. Like men don't like being open. I can speak for myself. And so when I'm open and then, you get played or you get disrespected, then you go like, okay, listen, that's kind of like for us taking our power back. So you can never do that to us again. We'll control the narrative from this point on.
And then you're going to wink. So what else you got over there, love?
The biggest thing that I said was saying sorry is just a statement without a connection. And what I mean by that is if you just say sorry and I'm not looking at you in your beautiful brown eyes and I'm not holding your hand or I'm not putting my hand around your back, then where's the connection? Because our kids say sorry all the time and they do something 5 seconds later because they don't mean what they say. They're just saying sorry because they don't want to get a spanking or get in trouble. Mm-hmm. And the same thing how we as adults do. We just don't want to have that verbal lashing that it might come. But why not try to touch somebody? Like me and you hold hands more because that's us trying to connect intimately. So why not do that when you're having a apology? Right. So I'm saying put more context to the subject so you can add a period, because when you just say I'm sorry, you might as well add a comma with and, but, or.
Oh, Jesus. So I think to piggyback off what you're saying, saying I'm sorry with no actions, mm-hmm. It's just a rerun. Like we need action. You can't just say I'm sorry, hold my hand and gaze into my eyes, because you used to do that.
I was just thinking about that. When it was good, man, all you had to do, and y'all, and I'm sure women have felt this and men have done it. Like I used to be able to hold her hand, look at her eyes, and I didn't have to say but so much. But guess what? It cost me. Because then when she was really ready to have that conversation and I was doing that, she was rolling her eyes, telling me to sit my ass down somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and that took me aback. And so I wish I would have rather had that conversation. But that was when we were younger, or when you were younger. And so the older and mature you got, it was like, listen, that cute stuff ain't gonna work for me. And so we talk about like, young relationships compared to mature relationships. And mature relationships is not based on physical. So no matter how I lick my lips, wink my eye, and all of that, that's not going to do anything when you really want to have a real conversation. Yeah,
exactly. And I know it's going to be hard, guys. It definitely was hard for us. Yeah. But when you had that conversation about forgiveness, don't have sex right away. Like, I know, because people be like, let's make up to break up. Don't have sex right away. I say don't have sex right away because you got to get your head clear. Like Jay just said, you gotta be able to do it without physical, like without intimate sex, right? Because sex will blind you. Sex will be like, yo, we're good now. Yeah. And really, again, because we used to do that that's how we have all these kids we got. Right. We used to do it all the time.
Straight up after argument.
Right.
Straight up.
Right.
Like that.
And then we still weren't addressing the issue. putting a band-aid over it. Yeah, I feel like if you gotta forgive or you want to forgive somebody, we need to put the sex on hold so we can have a clear mind.
We do, and there's a perspective to that because it's not like make-up sex, right? But we're not talking about that. Like we're talking about like when something's really wrong, and that's another thing that like as a man we'll try to do because we can handle that. We can handle our business, and so I'll give you that good deed, but like I realize, like the older a woman is, they'll take that good deed and then they'll still have a conversation. I think that's the worst thing ever. Like you're gonna take the good deed and we still gotta talk. So let's just go ahead and have that conversation.
Yeah, because you gave me the good deed and I still kicked you out. Yeah.
I still I had that little, like that cartoon with that toboggan thing. That jump was messed up like a cartoon character. Yes. We're trying to prevent this, y'all. So what we're trying to say is like, listen, a lot of these things work, like having sex after certain arguments are really good and intense, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about real forgiveness to try to keep your relationship together. You can't mix the two. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real.
Yeah. So anything else you got? This is you. I'll let you take over, babe, because I was really interested and happy that you picked this topic.
No, I love it. I hope that that this is relatable to some extent. This is my perspective. I hope you got something from it. And as always, we're hoping that this at least opens up a conversation.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, I thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your comments.
Appreciate it.
Normally,
Keita,
this is all.
Capri, all of y'all.
Yes, we love you guys so much. Please don't forget to share, like, comment, and you can follow us on YouTube under Life Under the L Word. I'm sorry, Life After the L Word. All right, baby, anything you want to say before we go?
Just as usual, life is love and love is life. We appreciate y'all.
All right, bye, guys. We will see you guys next time. Bye.